I think the time might actually be here to have an attempt at fighting Greg. So, hi Greg, I'm incredibly scared. Come on, my guy. Hi, hey, hello, my name is Sarah, and welcome back to my Sims 4 Werewolves playthrough, otherwise known as the Sims 4 100 Baby Challenge spin-off, because in this playthrough I am playing the Werewolves pack with one of my kids from my 100 Baby Challenge, because Jeremy decided when he grew up that he wanted to be a werewolf, so we have turned him into a werewolf. He's gone through a long journey to get to where he is right now, and he's actually really close to becoming an apex werewolf. That's going to be happening in this video. As a matter of fact, this might even be the last video of the Werewolves playthrough. Let's get into The Sims 4, let's catch up with Jeremy and see what we have left to do in this video. Well, here we are with Jeremy, who is in werewolf form, 5:24 a.m. on a Monday morning, and oh my freaking goodness gracious, you guys, we are so freaking close to becoming an apex werewolf, which apex is the last rank of werewolfness. That's the highest you can be, is an apex, so Jeremy is really close to that. So last episode we unleashed the beast, we finished that 25 times, we had to do that. We did spar with 5 werewolves as well, which was interesting. It does mean that the last things we have to do that are going to happen in this episode is leveling up to an apex, because we are so ridiculously close to doing that, and defeating Greg in a werewolf brawl. I am kind of thinking that before we do that, I need to get Jeremy to level 10 of the fitness skill. I want him to be as prepared for this brawl as possible, because I don't know if this is going to be different to sparring. I'm assuming it's going to be, considering it's a thing on its own in the aspiration to do this. I'm thinking it's going to be different to just sparring with a werewolf. Oh, are we about to rampage? Oh my guy, are you about to rampage? I mean, if you're gonna rampage, do it, my guy, but I just really actually wanted you to go to sleep because you're very, very tired. Oh, we've got no food or anything, so he's gonna have to hunt as well. Okay, my goodness gracious, it's all happening. I was not very organized last episode, apparently. You didn't go for a hunt?
More Flushin!
Oh, it's because we're rampaging. Oh, oh wait, hold on. Are we rampaging? What is happening right now? So much is happening right now. Jeremy is now the apex werewolf. Well, he's not the, because I know that there are other apex werewolves, but he's the apex werewolf. He's the best of the best, the cream of the crop, top of the food chain. The final tier of abilities are now available for purchase. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, that's really, really, really exciting. So if we have a look in the aspiration now, the last thing we've got to do is defeat Greg in a werewolf brawl. Anyway, are we rampaging? Is that what's happening? We are actually rampaging. No worries, it's fine. I'm gonna get through this rampage really quick, and I might actually just see you tonight, because Jeremy's gonna clearly need to sleep and then hunt and all of that. So I will see you tonight, and yeah, we're gonna talk about the next steps and have a look at the abilities then.
Later.
Oh my god! Storm Vitor is here, which is Chloe's son from our vampires playthrough, and he's cute! Storm Vitor, he looks so much like Chloe. I'm loving the piercings in the makeup, my guy. I just didn't expect to see any of Chloe's kids all grown up. But the reason I was coming to you now is because I want to take a look at our last row of abilities and what we can spend 3 ability points on. Now, specifically, I can see one of them's grayed out, and I'm assuming that's because we haven't got any of these ones, but it's Immortal Wolf, Live Forever. I don't know if I want Jeremy to live forever. Maybe Greg has that ability because he's like one of the earliest werewolves, whereas the Volkovs seem to be descendants of the early werewolves, so maybe Greg can live forever. Oh, and that's sad, actually. I want to try and uncover a little bit more of Greg's story in this video before we defeat him, just so you guys that maybe don't know all of Greg's story will know Greg's story. So anyway, the other 4 abilities that we do have the options to get are Super Speed, run at super speed. I'm not really phased about that. Alpha Wolf, win most fights and challenges against other werewolves. Well, I think we're immediately gonna have to do that, because it says those fledgling pups are beneath you now. As a natural alpha, enjoy quicker pack advancement, the ease of taking leadership of a pack, and better results results when fighting other werewolves. And if you run into Greg, give him a taste of his own medicine. Yes, we're gonna be buying that one. Thank you very much. Okay, so this one over here, Lunar Howl. Howl under the moonlight to transform temperaments. The most forbidden howl. Okay, release what little remains of Jeremy's humanity and succumb to the moon's glow. Be warned, he may never be the same again. I don't think I want that. I'm quite happy with Jeremy being a night wolf, carnivore, excitable, sad boy. I think that I like that actually. And the last thing is Legacy of the Lycan. Turn ability points into satisfaction points. I don't think I need that. So with that being said, we do have 2 more ability points. Are there any other abilities that I would like to get? So let's go back and have a look. I reckon this one might be a good one to get. Natural healing, recover from injuries more quickly. Jeremy already feels anything but normal, but with a bit of effort and focus, the strength of the werewolf blood in his body can be harnessed to recover from various fights, injuries, and all physical maladies much more quickly. I reckon that might be a good one to get, just because I don't know if we're going to defeat Greg first time. I don't know if we're going to have to try and fight him multiple times. I really don't know. That might just be a handy thing to have as well. I mean, look, there's nothing else that I really think I want for Jeremy, so I think we're gonna leave ourselves with 1 ability point. I'm pretty happy with Jeremy as a werewolf now, so that is our ability points that we're gonna be using. So that being said, it's 3:23 a.m. We don't have much time until he needs to go to bed. Tonight is the full moon. I would like to try and get to level 10 of fitness today, so that tomorrow we could maybe look at starting to have a brawl with Greg. So I guess we're just waiting for the full moon tonight. So yeah, let's bring that on.
The next evening.
Now, we have woken up. It is 8 o'clock at night. It's a little bit later than I thought it was going to be. Actually, we've only got like 2 hours until we actually rampage for the full moon rampage. So maybe we won't get to level 10 tonight. Reading some of Greg's diary again just while we've got some time. Avelina has forgotten to care for herself yet again while I was rampaging. How long was I gone? I can't even recall. That telescope will be her undoing. She becomes so transfixed by its mysteries and neglects everything else, herself included. I must hasten my efforts to control these transformations. My beloved wife needs me here with her. Oh, ow, Greg. Trying to be a good man for his wife. The time is almost here though, Jeremy. Come outside. We're gonna rampage very, very soon for the full moon. Very exciting. Jeremy! Rampage time. Yes, the fearsome Jeremy as a werewolf. He's not really truly very fearsome, but it's okay. Especially when he's cracking a tantrum like he just did. Oh god, how many times has Wolfie done this? Oh, Wolfie did a poo inside as well. Maybe I scared her so much that she, but Wolfie, it's okay, you can go back to normal now. Wolfie, is Wolfie gonna go back to normal? Hello? Okay, it's all good. I'm so glad that we got Wolfie. I really am. Like, this playthrough really wouldn't have been the same without Wolfie howling along with Jeremy. I write today with a heavy heart. My closest confidant and most daring friend, Yena Kia, has left this planet. It was a cow plant, those blasted abominations of the Moo casters. In certain hands, magic can do beautiful things. In others, it can create some of the galaxy's greatest monsters. Cow plants, vampires, and perhaps some would say us. Do werewolves belong on that list? I know John and Maria would adamantly disagree. John and Maria being the early Volkov ancestors that were pro-werewolf, and we are not monsters, and Greg is saying, are we? Can kind of understand why Greg thinks that way between his experiences with Avelina and his own rampaging experiences. He doesn't want to rampage so often, but the call of the beast is constantly there, and yeah, interesting. Jeremy has officially reached level 10 in the fitness skill, which means we could technically go and fight Greg, but I think like I said, I want to uncover as much of Greg's story as I can before we do that, just so you really know who we're fighting against. So with that being said, there are a couple of things that I want to talk about. I want to share the lore that I found. I also want to have a little bit of a discussion about it. So if you don't care about the lore at all, skip to this time in the video, because that's when we're actually going to fight Greg. But if you do want to know about the lore, stick around. Let's talk about it. All along this page are magical moon glyphs, Lunar Epiphany. With his Lunar Epiphany, Jeremy is able to read about a group of spellcasters who communed with their dog familiars to learn about the untapped magical potential found in moonlight. They declared themselves mooncasters and experimented with unstable transformation magic from the Untamed School. Okay, well that's a little bit interesting. This particular entry appears to have a shimmering enchantment over top that Jeremy is able to read through. At the end of the century conflict, the remaining werewolves scattered throughout the world. The Volkovs remained in Moonwood Mill. On one of my visits, I discovered a chamber below ground that tells the werewolf origin story. John and Maria Volkov must have asked a spellcaster to come and infuse it with moon magic. Whoever sings the moon song as a show of respect will be rewarded, sentimental to the last. Jeremy learned a secret about the mysterious room in the Moonwood Mill tunnel system. He should go check out the local tunnels for answers. What is the mysterious room? How do I get there? I want to sing the moon song as a show of respect and be rewarded by how werewolves came to be. I want to know the things. John and Maria are interested in a cure, not for themselves, they'll be quick to tell you, but for others who might not wish this curse upon themselves or their loved ones. We've been researching as a group and theorized that a mixture of wolfsbane and moon petal might do the trick. The problem is the rarity of moon petal makes experimentation slow and failure discouraging. That's right, because moon petal is only available on the full moon, and generally werewolves are rampaging during the full moon, so it makes it kind of difficult. I'll admit only here, dear unknown reader, I have considered taking the cure. Greg, it would allow me more time with Avelina, Greg! And yet we would lose access to our bond, for she is my fated mate. What would become of that connection were I to transform back and never be beast again? There must be another way. Greg! Oh my goodness, so that's really sad. So fated mate means that they are absolutely the most in love, like soulmates, fated mate. They are destined to be together. That connection would still be there. Would it be as strong? You probably wouldn't feel the physical tie that you probably do, but it doesn't mean that they wouldn't still be able to have a love that is very strong were he to take the cure. Obviously, it didn't come about. Glowing moon symbols around the edges of this page tell a dark story that Jeremy is only able to decipher with his Lunar Epiphany. It's a tale of betrayal, of duplication spells gone wrong, after an overloaded spell turned a mutated group of spellcaster mimics permanent. They turned on their creators and sank their fangs into them. They feasted on these spellcasters and their magical plasma, which enhanced their strength despite never sating their thirst. Vampires. Vampires? Am I right? Or maybe night wraiths? I really don't know anything about night wraiths. I don't know what their characteristics are. It pinged into my head when I was editing this video, and I don't know if maybe they're like a mixture of a spellcaster and a vampire, like if they're somewhere in between. I have no idea, but it makes me think immediately that it's vampires that was being referred to. But then if it's not night wraiths, where do night wraiths fit in? Because night wraiths are a part of Realm of Magic, and therefore you would think that they would be a part of this lore somewhere. I don't know. It's probably vampires. It's just something that I thought of. I've always known that Avelina's heart belongs to the night sky. I've known it since the day we met in Glimmerbrook. I wooed her with the poetry of the stars and the moon. How ironic to think of those days now, with what we've become, our very forms entwined with the moon itself. Perhaps fate knew, even if we did not, that we were destined to be together. There must be something magical about fate. It does seem to bind all things. So I went into build by because I knew there were a couple of objects that do have some of the lore in the descriptions of them. So I've brought them outside. 3 objects in particular. There may be more, but these are the 3 that I knew of for sure that had some lore. Look at me rhyming. That was unintentional, I promise. But I'm specifically going to start with this little thing here, which if I bring it into the light, you can see that it's kind of like a book, a stack of papers and stuff. So I'm going to start with this one, because this one we actually get a little insight into Avelina. We've seen a lot of Greg talking, but this one is Avelina talking. So this booklet is so full of scattered notes and loose leaf pages it threatens to explode with paper at any moment. One excerpt sticking out of the side reads as follows. Year 1, Week 6, Day 2, Lunar Phase Waxing Gibbous. Gregorius arrived back at our cabin tonight after a week of solo study. Very, very tense. Each time I peer at the moon through my telescope, I feel it too, like the glow itself is irritating to look at and be under. Perhaps an effect of the current phase? Nearly full moon. We'll probably wait to replace the door to the kitchen considering what happened last time. Nothing stops a hungry werewolf apparently. So it's just a little tidbit, but it's just nice to see something from Evelina's point of view. The next thing that I'm going to look at is this bed. This is from Greg's point of view. So, well, it'll have to do for now, Gregorius said with a sigh, covering the makeshift bed with the old Lundvik's loom linens he found in the closet, which Lundvik's loom, his mum, Greg's mum, she used to make stuff, make furniture and stuff. She used to make some carpets. There's some lore about that as well. I don't think it's super important though. So Lundvik's loom linens he found in the closet. It was the best he could do considering he'd devoured the only bed in his research cabin last night and woke up on the floor. Perhaps less fury next time, he muttered. He could already imagine the sight of his beloved Evelina eagerly waiting for him to return, standing in the front doorway clutching her folio of notes on the moon. And then lastly, of course, we do have the telescope, which we know from an entry in Greg's diary that Greg actually broke one of the legs. It is specifically this leg here. Let me bring it into the light so we can see it. You can see it's different to the other ones. So this telescope, Greg broke the leg and then replaced it because he knew how upset Evelina would be to have it broken. So this was the preferred telescope model used by the late Evelina Lundvik during her iconic studies of space. I'm gonna pause there because that's a bit to take in. So Evelina is obviously not alive anymore. I've tried really hard to find if there's more lore throughout Greg's diary talking about how she passed, but I don't know if there is, honestly. I haven't seen anyone talking about it or anything, so I don't know if there is. It's kind of likely, given that I haven't seen anything definite talking about how Evelina died, that she probably passed while Greg was in a fury, because Greg said that he'd come back to find her, she had neglected her own needs because she'd been so engrossed in the stars. So it's probably likely that Evelina died because she was so engrossed in her studies that she completely neglected her own needs, which would further make Greg absolutely bitter and angry about this fury that he has been cursed with. The thing that gets me is Greg had spoken about thinking about taking the cure, and after Evelina had passed, he's probably wished that he had, because yeah, it meant that he probably wouldn't have been immortal, he wouldn't have lived forever, but neither did Evelina, and it meant that they would have been able to have a life together, even if they had lost their fated mate soul connection that they had. He still would have been able to live a life with Evelina and then wouldn't have had to live without Evelina as well. So based on what we know, the fact that Evelina has passed but Greg is still alive, leads me to think that Greg is actually an immortal werewolf, and that when Evelina passed, Greg was then left to wander for the rest of his life on his own. I mean, he lost his friend Yena Kia, lost his wife, his familiar Brutus was getting on in life as well, so Greg on his own all of a sudden to wander forever, to constantly struggle with the fury. We're going to read the rest of the description and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So her discoveries surrounding the effects of the lunar cycle on fury were crucial to her husband Gregorius's breakthroughs on harnessing werewolf power. Fun fact, it was with this telescope that she discovered the existence of the planet 6am, using her heightened werewolf senses to identify its far-off glimmer as a life-supporting planet. We love this lore, this is amazing. We've even included the makeshift tripod leg she fashioned. Where did the plank come from? Well, Gregorius was pretty hungry one night during a full moon and the door to the kitchen was in his way, so he ate it. Back to what I was talking about, and I don't know, again, if this is canon, this is just my understanding of the lore and knowing what we know about how Evelina was trying really, really hard to study the lunar phases, to study the lunar cycle, study the moon and its impact on werewolves so that she could help Greg through his fury. And then also on Greg's side, him trying to study himself and the effects of things on him and his fury to get his fury under control so that he could be a better husband for Evelina. So it makes me think, and again, I don't know if there's actually lore about this that I've just missed or not, but but it makes me think that Avelina passed before either of them were able to find the information that they were looking for. And I feel like that is why, well, that's one of the reasons why Greg is so bitter and angry, and he has isolated himself from the world because he can't control his fury, and he is doomed to forever be a walking beast, forever alone, without the love of his life, without his friend, without his familiar. He is doomed to live this life forever. So maybe a part of it is also because he can't afford to lose anyone else. He'll never have a love like he had with Avelina ever again because she was his fated mate. So maybe part of why he's bitter and angry and why he isolated himself is because he's so afraid to love someone or something like he did and lose them all over again. That's why I was saying when we started learning little bits about Greg earlier on, like, I understand why Greg is the way that he is. I understand why he's bitter and he's angry and he's decided to take this route. However, incredible trauma does not excuse you being a horrible person. And being a bitter person is only gonna mean that you have a miserable life. So it doesn't excuse the fact that he is the way that he is, but we can kind of understand that he is the way that he is. I was really hoping we'd be able to find something more official rather than just my observations and my understanding of the situation, and I'm gonna keep Jeremy reading and just seeing if we can find little bits, but it is 8:47 p.m. on Thursday. I think the time might actually be here to have an attempt at fighting Greg. So let me just get him eating some meat, and then we're gonna go and suss Greg out and see if we can fight him. Oh my goodness, I'm scared. I think we're gonna transform into our werewolf form because I have a feeling it'd probably be a good idea to approach Greg when we are in our werewolf form. So now that we've transformed, if we come and investigate the warning signs, because Greg doesn't look like he's here, but if we go and investigate the warning signs at Greg's place, that should make him turn up, just like it did when Jeremy got turned. And then I'm assuming, well, I'm hoping from there, we're just going to be able to challenge him. And I don't know if this is going to happen in an official place or if it's just going to happen here. I have abso-freaking-lutely zero idea what is about to happen here. I'm really nervous. I thought you would have been running on all fours, but it's fine. Here we go. We're going to investigate the signs. And there, in fact, is Greg over in the distance. So, hi, Greg. You're still wearing your wedding ring, Greg. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, it's happening. It's a werewolf brawl. It's just right there. He's just in his fury forever. So he's doomed to just be angry man forever. Anyway, hi, Greg. I'm incredibly scared. Oh my god, it's just happening right now. Hold on. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. Trying to give you guys the best vantage point of this. I'm trying to give myself the best vantage point of this. I don't know. I'm gonna go into tab mode, I think.
Luma!
Come on, Jeremy. Come on, Jeremy. Hopefully with our ability, that means we'll do better in fights. Hopefully. Come on, my guy. Oh my god! He did it! Oh my god!
Shusha bee werefloof!
He freaking did it, Jeremy! Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Not Jeremy. He is the big bad wolf. Oh, he is. He's the big bad. But he's not the big bad. He's the big good. Anyway, the big bad wolf. Jeremy has completed the journey to become the most independent and fearsome werewolf in Moonwood Mill. What will he accomplish next? I thought there was going to be more like talking between Greg and Jeremy. Anyway, that was amazing. Jeremy, so freaking proud of you, my guy. So proud. Oh my goodness gracious. With that being said, here it all is. Everything has been ticked off this list. Now, there is something else though. I still want to try and maybe find more lore from Greg's stuff. I also want to go back into the tunnels because there was the talking of the tunnels before. Oh, Wolfie! Wolfie's here! Did Wolfie come to show her support to oh my god, Wolfie, look at the little girl, she's running. Where are you, Wolfie? You can go home, honey. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good, I promise. We're totally fine, sweetheart. Thank you for coming to help your master fight, but he abso-freaking-lutely killed it. Anyway, I want to go and see if I can sing the Song of the Moon respectfully to find out the last little bit about how the spellcasters created werewolves, because that's kind of the thing. The spellcasters were the original occult. They created vampires. From what I can get from the lore, maybe I'm wrong in that, but it seems like they created vampires, and then the vampires are like, yo, we want to be the one and only freaking occult, and so they start this war with the spellcasters. And then there's the moo casters who use the cow plants to fight and stuff, and then there's the moon casters who were looking at the magic of the moon and then kind of became werewolves and stuff. And then the moon casters and the moo casters joined the fight with the spellcasters against the vampires, because the vampires are the big bad. Anyway, so I just want to see if we can find out exactly how the spellcasters made werewolves, or made werewolves. I don't know what I want to find out. I just want to find out as much story as I can. Okay, so I think this is where I need to be, right? So Jeremy encounters a tiny chasm and hops across it. On the other side, the tunnel splits in three. A faint melody, strange yet almost magical, seems to emanate from the path. I think that's where I need to go, because it makes sense. The magical melody, sing the song. I don't know, follow the magical melody. I'm so excited right now. This is exactly what I was looking for. We've been here before, but I didn't know what I needed to know to do the thing. Anyway, the enchanting music fades as Jeremy comes to a large round room with an expansive relief carved into the wall. Embedded glowing cerulean crystals give off enough light to make out the story within. The artwork depicts a magical conflict between two sides, with some favoring plasma, the vampires, and others who drew power from the moon, the werewolves. So we are gonna howl with the moon music, because we did not have this option before, because we didn't know the information we needed to know. So we're gonna howl with the moon music. Jeremy recalls some scribbled notes he'd seen in one of the books he read. It was Greg's diary, mentioning an underground room filled with the moon's music. Remembering the notes of the magical tune that had been on the air a moment ago, Jeremy howls a somber but sweet song to those notes. Further down the wall, a carved wolf's mouth suddenly opens and drops something out onto the ground. A moonwood wand? I'm sorry, what the hell is that? Okay, so thank you to only Abby Doang on Twitter for this that I'm about to share with you. It's a description of the Moonwood Wand. Long ago, a group of spellcasters caused an overload while practicing a powerful moon-infused untamed spell. The resulting explosion imbued the surrounding area with lunar energy. Because of this, the wood from trees surrounding Lake Lunvik are eagerly sought after by the spellcasting community. This wand was one of the first ever created. So the overload is the spell that the mooncasters were trying to do that caused the rift. This was mentioned a couple of episodes ago. I can't remember exactly which spell that was. I think it was the spell to try and defeat the vampires, I think. Is that what created werewolves? Am I piecing this together right now? Hold the frick on. That would make sense that they were trying to create a moon-infused spell to defeat the vampires, but it overloaded, it surged, it went very, very wrong, causing werewolves to be a thing, and also causing a rift in the realm. Wow, so I don't think we can do anything with it because we're not a spellcaster, we're a werewolf. This is the part about the overload. After the vampire uprising, every one of us spellcasters grew increasingly desperate. One group tried to create a spell that could simultaneously cure every vampire in existence. So it was trying to cure the vampire, cure them, that caused the overload. A single spell to end the conflict. Of course, they were blinded by hubris and hurried by desperation. The spell was too powerful for the group to handle. It caused a massive fracture in the fabric of the realm itself. So now that I've learnt that, now that I've defeated Greg, I think I do want Jeremy to become an immortal werewolf. We are able to do that now that we have purchased the natural healing, and Jeremy is now going to be immortal. So the reason I did that is because it was nice to see Chloe and Caleb and even Storm throughout this playthrough, and if I ever do another 100 Baby spin-off, it might be nice to just see Jeremy throughout any future 100 Baby spin-offs as well. I think that would be really nice. One more thing I've been meaning to do is get this shelf. I talked about it when I got these collectibles, these figures earlier on, about this shelf. I'm pretty sure that these figurines, they slot onto the shelf. I don't think I've got them all. I've been just selling them for money and I shouldn't have. So I would like to complete the collection. Okay, well apparently we just completed the collection. By collecting all of the Moonwood Mill relics, the rich local history of this old logging town has left the darkness and entered the moonlight. That is sweet. However, I've found all of the things, but like I said, I deleted a lot of them. So there's still a few more things that I need to find in order to freaking complete this. It's all good.
Eventually.
I did complete the collection. Get out of the way, Jeremy, so we can have a look at the collection. All of the collectibles here on the wall, and we also did get a plaque for completing the collection. Everything that I set out to do in this gameplay is now done. So with that being said, you guys, that's all I've got for this gameplay of the Werewolves pack. This was only one of the aspirations. It was the aspiration that I definitely felt suited Jeremy the most. I really enjoyed this playthrough. Learning more about werewolves, having Jeremy be the big bad wolf, and defeating Greg, of course, was really cool. If you'd like to see more of me and any more Let's Plays in the future, hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell next to it to be notified of every time that I upload. And if you liked this video, let me know by hitting the like button down below and leave me a comment as well. If you made it this far in the video, and as a matter of fact, if you've watched the entire series with Jeremy, let me know by leaving the werewolf emoji, or the wolf emoji, I suppose is what it really is, the wolf emoji, in the comments down below to let me know that you liked this playthrough, you saw it all the way through to the end, and you would like to see more Let's Plays in the future. But guys, I hope you're having the greatest day ever, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!